Do we have a countdown? You're live. Okay. This is Village of Minerva Park Council meeting February 24th, 2022, 7 p.m. And we will start with roll call. Councilperson Koss.
Present.
Councilperson Shrestha.
Present.
Councilperson Camera.
Here.
Council President Wolf.
Here.
Councilperson Bruger.
Here.
Councilperson McNamara.
Present.
All right, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's move straight to February 10th, 2022 council meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Good to go. Okay, let's go straight to citizen comments.
Please,
Tony Benedetti, 2937 Berry Lane Court.
there you go.
I'm going to be talking about this fence appeal that you guys heard last month until I get some kind of response back about the issues that I'm bringing forward. Last night I had an opportunity to finally listen to the meeting, the hearing, and I was only able to get through like the first 15 minutes, through Eric's presentation. And I'll have to tell you that it was at 2 minutes into it where the first incorrect explanation of the code from the planner came in. And I like it, and this is where they were talking about where fences are allowed to be at on the property. Now I'm going to read to you from the fence code. It says, no fence or wall shall be erected forward of the line 14 feet back from the immediately adjacent front building line of a dwelling. Now, Eric tried to explain to everybody that this front building line is the line where the right-of-way stops in your front yard. This is, in Eric's defense, this is called the front building line. But this is not the front building line they're talking about in this code. The code is talking about the front of the house, not the front building line. So, at 2 minutes in the meeting, you can hear him go on and talk about how there's a different code for the new development as opposed to the historic part of the village. And that there are some, that in the historic part of the village, according to Eric, you can put fences up in the front yard. Because in his opinion, the code reads that it has to be 27 feet away from the road. If you take the right of way, the setback, and the 14 feet, that's 27 feet. Now, Brian, you were on council when this was passed, and it was not the intention of council to have fences allowed out to the front building line, or 14 feet back from the front building line, like Eric's explained. So, that was the first mistake that was made in the presentation. Then he goes on to talk about it's not the village's place to referee the issues between the two parties. Now, you guys all had gotten a copy of the survey. There's one survey that's done by a state certified, a registered professional surveyor that says that this fence is 0.2 feet into the neighbor's property. Then the other survey that the other person brought, it says that the wood fence is on the property line. Now, and this is not from a certified surveyor. This is just an engineering company that had some guys go out and do some measurements. Now, when Eric says it's not your place to get in the middle of this, it absolutely is. Because these people have built, and it's only 0.2 or 0.2 of a foot into their property, but there's a state certified survey that says it's in their property. Now, I'm not sure what the findings are. Hopefully we'll get the findings supposed to be written up this week from Jesse. about the appeal hearing. And I haven't gone through the whole meeting, but I don't even know if you guys even talked about the fact that this fence is built on their property. So that's another issue I have with what Eric is presenting. Then he goes in to talk about the code that describes common driveways was adopted in '89, and that because the houses were built in '56, that it doesn't apply. Eric, I got one question, if you would. Have you seen ordinance 589? That's the one that refers to the changes. Have you seen it? Yes or no?
Not a question and answer session.
So you're not answering. Have you seen it or not, Eric? I mean,
I'm not responding.
see, this is the problem, guys. Is Eric is as well intended as he may be, he has misrepresented.
Your time has elapsed.
You know what, guys, we'll do this 5 minutes at a time, as long as it takes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's move over to legislation.
All right, we got a nice stack here. First on the block is ordinance 3/2022, and an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2022. This would be an increase in appropriations for the firefighting prevention inspection services of $43,925. We are obligated to do this by Columbus Fire because we are going to be using them for fire hydrant inspections as well as fire, safety inspections of various commercial properties. And real quick, if either Mayor Hughes or Eric, if you want to talk about some of the clawback potential here, so we get all of that in there, or do we want to hold off on that since we don't have a set?
We do not have any set data yet. The concept is that we'll be able to, at least without too much trouble, claw back, the $30,000 because that's a specific commercial, fee that we can assign since the Columbus is specifically inspecting all the commercial tenanted spaces. We have to develop a formula that deals with each of the commercial buildings and or tenanted spaces in the village, and we should be able to get our $30,000 back on an annual fee basis and require that.
So in other words, since $30,000 of this is Columbus doing fire inspections, we don't have the fee structure yet for it, but we will be looking forward in the future to changing our fees to businesses to get that permit and then just essentially handing that money over to Columbus Fire. We are looking to waive readings on this as we need to get this money because Columbus Fire has their hand out and we don't want to not have ambulances show up.
We want to get, and just as an FYI, we do want to get a lot of the commercial properties inspected as soon as possible. And as soon as we sign this, hopefully they will get started on them pretty quickly, because a lot of those haven't been inspected in a long time.
Yeah, not to feed any, anti-feelings, but we have not been doing a good job at commercial fire inspection over the past few years. That kind of fell apart, and this will bring us back up to where we need to be. Any discussion, debate on it?
Or you first need to move to waive reading.
Yeah, but, I can do that too, just before I go to the thing, power through that. All right, I'm gonna move that we waive the second and third reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone have an opinion on it? All right, Mayor?
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Councilperson Shrestha.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Brugger.
Aye.
And Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Okay, having waived the second and third readings, I will move that we approve this supplemental appropriation.
Second.
Any debate on it? All right, Mayor?
Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Brugger.
Aye.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Shrestha,
Aye.
and Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, Resolution 2022-02, a resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with Resource Internationals, Inc. for the 2022 pavement condition assessment. This is our third reading of it, so I will be moving for passage tonight. This is to hire Resources International, in the sentence, and then until it flew out of my head, to drive around the village, inspect the pavement, and come up with recommendations of what needs to be fixed and in what priority, at a total cost not to exceed $12,000.
I just want to throw in there that it's also curbs too. I've had some kind of concerned citizens reaching out about their curbs, so that's going to.
There you go. And curbs are part of the pavement condition then. Okay, I move passage.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any debate?
I just want to say that that is good to hear about the curb conditions as well, because I've been getting complaints or concerns from last summer from residents as well.
Yeah, we just want to.
Thank you for mentioning that, Councilperson Cox. All right, it has been moved and seconded. We even have a couple words to say about it. I think we're ready for a vote.
All right. Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Shrestha.
Aye.
And Council President Wolf.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, on to,
Nope, you're good.
On to Resolution 2022-05, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Frost Brown Todd for the review and revisions of the Village of Minerva Park zoning code. This is only our second reading, so we don't have to take any action on it. Again, this is modernizing, going through and fixing our code. The cost not to exceed $35,000, although I have heard that's a bit of a high estimate, but that's the price tag we have right now. Any comments on it? Moving right along. Also notice in the packet, and I believe this should be on the online packet too, is a copy of the proposal, correct? So if anyone out there wants to take a gander on it, it should be up there with the packet for tonight. All right, moving on. Resolution 2022-06. A resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with the City of Columbus for fire and EMS services and declaring an emergency. For anyone wondering at home, the reason we're doing this, even though we're already under contract with Columbus Fire, is because we are modifying the contract in enough of a way that we have to repass it with the additional, what's it, 43,000? And the additional services provided with that, we have to go through and reissue the contract. That sort of also explains why we want to waive readings and declare an emergency, is so that we are still under contract with Columbus Fire for fire and EMS services. I'm going to move that we waive the second and third reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone with any comments or concerns to say about that? All right, let's vote on waiving the second and third reading.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Shrestha.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Okay, we have waived readings. Having done that, we can now move to passing it as an emergency. Once again, why are we passing it as an emergency? So we can stay in contract with our EMS and fire services and not have to wait 30 days to do so. I move to pass as an emergency.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Councilperson Camera.
No, man. I had to find your name on there. Okay. Council President Wolf.
Any discussion?
Sorry.
Only gotta give a chance for it. Okay, moving on then.
Okay. Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Shrestha.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara. Aye. Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Awesome. Done.
All right, our final legislative item for the night is Resolution 2022-07. Too many twos. A resolution setting the fees for membership day passes and pool rental for the Minerva Park Pool for the 2020 summer season. This is a first reading. This is not a finished document yet, but anyone keeping tabs at home, our current proposal still has the day pass at $10, which it always was. There's been about a $5 per season pass fee increase. So when one person was 125, it's 130. Two people was 190, 195. So season passes have gone up by about $5 per level. Day passes are the same. Those are the sort of the big changes. There's some other stuff in here that we're still working on to see if we're going to have fancy things, including an after 5 and weekend pass that would be slightly cheaper than a regular full season pass.
Should we add that there's pretty vibrant discussion online? So if anybody's really interested in all that, that's really easily accessible.
Yes.
To how we came up with those numbers.
And then, people have already started calling, finding out when they can get those, so the sooner we get all these read and passed and all that good stuff, the sooner we can start selling them too, so, maybe at the end of the day, once we know the document's good, passing it as an emergency would not hurt my feelings, I'm just saying, because it would give people more time to pay for
Because
them.
then you can set up and start opening and selling them.
Yeah. So I'll get that to you guys later, but first reading for tonight,
Yep, just a first reading. It's been read.
beautiful. All right, old business.
Yes, I can report the streets. We started some of the clearing of the trees.
Yep. Yeah, we're rolling on that. We'll see how the rest of that goes. The only thing I'm gonna say is this is for you guys. It was approved to do virtual meetings. I told you guys I would let you know whether or not it was or was not. It was signed. It's good through June 30th. This is a discussion you guys can have amongst yourself. You guys can email, you guys can decide. In the event we do go virtual, then we will get it posted online, that we are going back virtual. But it is an option if you guys choose to do the meetings virtual. A lot of the committee meetings have been virtual. We do post those online as soon as the meetings are done. Usually the Zoom link comes up within about 24 hours, so Barb's pretty good at getting those on the very next morning. For anybody that wants to review any of the committee meetings, we do get them put up there as soon as we're able to, usually within 24 hours. So that's that. That's my old business. And I don't have any new business, so let's go to new business. Anybody with new business?
Wasn't there a bid opening today for the building?
Yeah, there was a bid opening today. We don't have a lot of information for it yet because we have the Garmin Miller's working on a couple different things for us.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
He says, I just like spending time to do that. Okay.